everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I've been thinking about that quite a bit, actually, spending your wine dollars wisely, because, I've been known for a long time to be the guy that customers come to, and they're, I really find great values. I have my pick of the month, which is usually under $12. But, I also realize that there are many great wines that are more expensive. And when it comes to spending your wine dollars wisely, you just want to make sure that when you're spending I think the really tough range is $40 to $100, because, you can really be disappointed at those price ranges. And so, I don't taste a ton of those on this episode, but I do taste some. And it is really important that when you taste those wines, that you're really thinking that you're getting your money's worth. And it's a whole lot different than spending $40 to $100 on a bottle of booze, because that bottle of booze is hopefully going to last longer than a bottle of wine. I mean, you're consuming a bottle of wine with friends in one night. And so, you want that, the money that you spent to really be worth it. So, right now we're not going anything over 20 bucks today. I just got done watching Jordan Spieth not make the playoffs for the Open Championship. So, it's kind of cool. He's 22 years old. He's got a long way to go. This guy is going to be in many, many more majors and in contention to win those majors. I was really hoping Dustin Johnson would pull it through. But a funny thing about it always cracks me up when I'm watching these tournaments. They go, a treacherous hole location. It's like, the word treacherous to me in golf just do not go together for some reason. I don't know why. I golf, and I never think of anything as treacherous, except when you're in the middle of the rough and you're trying to hit a ball out. That can be treacherous. But, to me, treacherous is football. Treacherous is wrestling. Treacherous is something tougher than, hitting a golf ball. Anyway, I don't know if those guys really enjoy that terminology. I also kind of crack up when they, and I'm not going to go too much further with this, but I always crack up with the whole noise thing, and they're telling them don't take a picture with your phone and all that. I think golfers should practice their shots with noise, with guys talking on the green. It's getting to that point in our lives where that's become, I remember when guys teed off like Tom Watson, Nicklaus, and those, nobody like, go Jack, after he hit the ball. Now it's common. A lot more noise on the golf course, so I think these guys need to get off their high horse and start practicing with a little bit of noise. Enough said. All right, we're focusing on Argentina, and I know I said at the beginning of the year I was going to go Australia, and I still am, but this is how difficult or how tough wine sales have been from Australia. It's hard to get samples of Australian wines from guys, because they just, they want results. And they know that wine sales from Australia are tanking, so they don't want to necessarily cut loose on samples because they're not selling many Australian wines. That's kind of sad. I need the wholesalers. I need you guys to understand that we can get Australian wine sales back, maybe not back to their glory days, but we certainly can get them back better than they are now. I think we can. So keep those samples coming so I can do episodes and promote Australian wines. We're going to Argentina today, and the reason I did that, and the reason I staged it up using the example of Australia, is I think that Argentina has suffered a little bit of the same demise that Australia did, in that they focused too much on just Malbec. And we have a Malbec here, but we also have a Cab, and we have a Bonarda. So we're going to get started, because I think Argentina, like Australia, has a lot to offer. Australia kind of sunk on Shiraz, cheap Shiraz. I do not want to see Argentina sink on the Malbec ship. You've got other things there to focus on. And one of those things is Bonarda. And this is a grape that you will mostly only see from Argentina. I think I've seen Bonarda from Uruguay. But Bonarda reminds me a lot of Syrah. Has a lot of the same characteristics. It's a little chewier than Syrah, but it certainly has a lot of the same things. So we're going to do the 2013 Colonia Los Libres Bonarda Classica from Mendoza, Argentina. And this rolls in at $8. Oops. There you go. Now, how many of you have tried a Bonarda? Is that something that you look for? Well, you see, Argentina does some excellent Bonarda. At least in my past experiences, they've done some excellent jobs with this grape. And I know $8 sounds really cheap, but this is a good producer. And I've always been really successful. We call it the bunny wine because it has the rabbit on the picture. Hope you saw that. Anyway, let's get started. What do we got on the nose? See what we have. Excuse me, a little hiccup there. What do we get on the nose? Very bright. I mean, it's like a lot of like red fruits coming through, like a little bit of cranberry. Alcohol, the reason I paused there, I was just curious about the alcohol in this one. 13.7. I get a little bit of a nose burn on this one. A lot of cranberries. Get cherries, a lot of red flowers, like violets. I get a little bit of blueberry too coming through on this one. Now, what's interesting is sometimes Bonarda will show smoke. This one, I believe, is unoaked, so you're not going to get that influence from the oak. Very, like I said, very bright. Almost, it's making my mouth water. Let's see what we get on the palate. That's what's so cool about Bonarda. Bright nose, and then you get this like nice Syrah-like mouthfeel. I get a little bit of bacon fat, a lot of white pepper and black pepper coming through, and it's more on the currant side on the palate. You know, it's very smooth, but dense and a little bit chewy at the same time, which I really like. The blueberries come through on the back end. Right at the backside, the acidity really kind of pops. The blueberry, almost get like a black raspberry, cherry tones coming through, but right up front, it's more currant oriented, which is really interesting. For an $8 bottle of wine to have this much going on, that's a cool thing. I mean, you know, even without geeking it up, I think even the average wine drinker would go, wow, this is a pretty good bottle of wine for $8. Yes, it is. It has some nice tobacco undertones to it, a little bit of leather. That's a very cool wine. A little chewy on the backside. This is a great grilled meat wine. It'd be a great hamburger wine, great pizza wine. I like it a lot. I like the finish is actually dragging on. The heat doesn't come through on the palate. I like the spiciness of it very much. I'm going to go B+ on that wine. $8 wine getting a B+ score. That's pretty cool. And if you haven't tried Bonarda yet, I think you should. I think you should seek it out and look for it and give it a shot. There's a lot of producers that do it, and you know, I was really sad. Argento, and I don't know what happened there, but they used to have a really good Bonarda, and they quit doing it. At least I can't get it anymore, and I'm kind of sad about that. I love Bonarda, and I think you should try it. Good stuff. Really good. Now we're going to move on to a Malbec. And I'm doing this because this is an interesting producer. I tasted their Sauvignon Blanc. I really liked it. Zorzal Terroir Unico Malbec from the Tupungato Valley, which is a subregion in Mendoza. This Malbec is a 2014, and it rolls in at $14. And one of the reasons I'm tasting this is because I found more and more of the Malbecs are starting to creep up in price. You know, we all got used to those $8, $10, $9 Malbecs. And I think they're trying to get away from that. I think it's a good thing. For the consumer, maybe not so much, but, you know, just, we don't want to, you know, you don't give it away. None of us give things away, right? Except maybe at a garage sale. So, you know, don't be disappointed to see some of these Malbecs coming in at $14, $15, $16. We spend that every day on blends. You know, there's a lot of blends. You know, Apothic Red is $12. Maybe not in Cali, but here in Washington. You know, there's just a lot of blends that come in at that price point. And, you know, people are excited about those. Don't be discouraged, because I found a lot of the Malbecs in this price range show a lot more characteristic. They get out of that vanilla ice cream category that I think of a lot of the less expensive Malbecs get. And what I mean by that is a lot of us like vanilla ice cream, but it's kind of boring if you have it all the time. That's why, you know, they add things to ice cream, Hershey syrup, whatever we add to it. We do that because we want a little bit more than just the plain vanilla. Well, I think a lot of Malbecs from Argentina got into that vanilla category, just plain old, simple reds. That's why a lot of them lost their thunder, I think. Let's see what we get on the nose. Wow. See, now, right off the bat, I get that like kind of toasty leather, dark fruits, currants, a little bit of baking spice coming through, which is really cool. And right underneath that, I get like a, you know, like rose petals that are on that, you know, they're getting a little bit old, maybe decayed just a little bit. Yeah, that rose petal really comes through with a little bit of tobacco. Sorry, Eric. Yes, you can get tobacco out of a wine. So funny to me how I do agree with Matt Kramer about getting carried away with descriptors. I mean, you know, you're tasting Malbec, you're going to have the same descriptor. If you taste 30 Malbecs, you might get some slight variations. But yeah, some guys get super carried away with trying to come up with all these, you know, almost ridiculous descriptors for wines. And really, I think on the consumer, you can comment if you'd like. Do you like to hear all these fancy descriptors? I mean, you know, sexy is a good word. Sultry is a good word. I think, you know, describing wine, I like to use those words sometimes. Don't use the word fun or pretty. I have, and I'm not opposed to those entirely, but I don't know, a fun wine. I'm still having a hard time with that, Gabe. What is a fun wine? He tried to tell me. He tried to explain it to me, and I still don't entirely get it. Maybe I'm just kind of stupid. I don't know. Yeah, great nose on this. Let's see what we get on the palate. So much going on with this wine. It's so deep and intense. Dark fruits. I get a little bit of beauty bark. You know what I mean? I think beauty bark, you know, you just kind of equate the smell. Sometimes when you smell bark, you know, you can almost taste it. I don't go out and chew bark, but that's the idea. Really spicy, like white pepper, black pepper coming through big time. Good tannins, good structure, excellent structure, but excellent balance too. Front to back, you know you're getting a serious wine here. Now, I'll just tell you right now, you can go out and buy a $25 cab from Napa Valley, well, a $25 cab from Cali, Washington State, And you would be hard-pressed to find one, not hard-pressed, but it would be more difficult to find one that showed this sort of depth, structure, intensity, spice. It's a little chewy, a little meaty. I mean, this is a great Malbec for 14 bucks. You just need to kind of get used to the fact that maybe you're going to have to pay a little extra cash to get the better quality Malbecs. I love that nice leathery undertow right underneath that dark fruit. Nice finish. I get those rose petals kind of coming through right on the back side of this wine. Excellent wine. Excellent Malbec. From a sub-region, that's why it says terroir, unique terroir from the Tupungato Valley in Mendoza. Good stuff. I'm going to go A- on that. I think that's an excellent Malbec, an excellent example of Malbec. Good acid. You could lay that down for 5 years, no problem. Let's move on. Now we're going to Cabernet Sauvignon from Argentina. And this is one of those things I'm trying to say is that Argentina does a lot more than just Malbec. They make good cabs. They have Bonarda. They have Torrontés. They have many, many different varietals to play with. And we're seeing more and more of them come to light for us to try. So this is the Fabre Montmelo Cabernet Sauvignon 2013 barrel selection. Patagonia. Now we're going south. Southern Argentina, Patagonia, this rolls in at $16. All right, let me show you the label. A little rinse. I've tasted a lot of great cabs out of Argentina. And I think that's, since Cab is king in the red wines, I think that, maybe that's an area you might want to look to for Cabernet Sauvignon. Not just Napa, not just Washington. Go to Argentina. Let's see what we get on the nose. Good color on this. Really, really intense color. Very cool. Classic cab nose, lots of currants, almost ripe currants. Little tobacco. There's an interesting smell right on the backside that I just can't identify. It's almost like there's a little bit of chopped up something green. Like a green veggie, like maybe green bell peppers or asparagus, but it's not prominent. Cool thing about Fabre, hope I'm saying that right, Montmelo, is they have some influence from Bordeaux, the owners. So, a lot of these guys are going down over to these countries where you can produce some really fantastic wines for a lot less money. Get a little vanilla and chocolate coming through. That's what I'm kind of getting also on this wine. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very smooth and polished tannins on this one. Right off the bat, I get the chocolate. It's like chocolate covered currants is what it reminds me of quite a bit, which is kind of cool for some of you. That's a very popular flavor profile for many people. Then right at the end, I get the kind of rose petal thing coming through on top of that. Kind of gets a little grippy on the backside, like a little sandpaper action on your back of your tongue, roof of my mouth. Definitely needs food. Definitely needs a big steak or something like that. A good messy chili dog. would be good. Good structure, good, there's acid there. There's fruit, but there's acid that kind of, you can feel it underneath all that fruit. It's not a fruit bomb, don't get me wrong. It just has fruit. Like I said, chocolate covered currants all day with a little bit of old rose petals underneath, a little bit of tobacco coming through, but not a huge amount. This is one of those cabs, it's a little warm, I can feel it a little warm. 14.5 on the alcohol. I'm not a big, as you know, you should know by now if you've been watching me, I'm not against higher alcohol wines. I just think that they need some time in the bottle. This is a 2013. Give this about 3-4 more years and it's going to evolve into something entirely, well, not entirely different, but something very good. I don't know if I'd go too much past that, maybe 5 tops, but 16 bucks. That bark action comes through just a little bit on the back end. Now, this is a crowd pleaser cab. This is a cab that a lot of people are going to like. I'm going to go B+ on it. The only thing I don't like about it, the only thing I think that keeps it from going A- is it's a little too fruit forward. But that being said, it's still a well-made, very well-made cab. And it's amazing because they're down in Patagonia, which gets some of that Antarctic influence, so it's a little cooler, and yet, you know, still showing that fruit really well. I'm going B+. Could turn into an A- wine in about 2 to 3 years. We'll leave it at that. B+ is a great grade for anything. I used to love B+'s in school. Thanks for watching. And remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. But be willing to try new things. Try a Bonarda. Look for cabs from Argentina. They're very good. But never, ever, ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. And if we do that together, we can take the snob out of wine.